welcome back to Devil May Cry. Last time we finally, well, we didn't really kill Griffin, but Griffin did die. And we also got a Wheel of Fortune, or whatever, that we're going to be needing to actually progress with the story, because there was a certain area that was kind of blocked off to us after we went across it. And there's just a random blue orb sitting there, like a full blue orb, not even a fragment. Just an entire thing sitting there. It's kind of odd, but I'll take it. It's some extension to my health, although it didn't feel very big. Like, it didn't feel like a huge extension to me. I don't know why. It just felt like it did less than the blue orbs usually do. I don't know. And the death scythes are, of course, back. Don't stay underneath this area to face them, as I said before. You want to head toward the actual central arena area, but apparently I'm just gonna hang out underneath here to try and kill them like a dunce. That's probably the last one. Maybe. Well, the camera's kind of zooming in a weird way. Maybe there is one more. Yes, there is one more. Okay. Well, it's dead. So, yeah. Anyway, we need to actually head away from the Colosseum to the bridge that we went across to get here. You might remember that the bridge actually went up to kind of like, I guess, well, exactly like a drawbridge after we had crossed it. There's an item behind this statue here. It's a devil star. Refills your devil trigger. But we actually need the Wheel of Destiny to place it into this little area so that the bridge can actually come back down. I don't know why it went up in the first place, but whatever. That's just how the game goes. And this is like the weirdest, not unlocking, but like drawing, well, the opposite of drawing, I guess, because the drawing part is where it goes up. So releasing, I guess, of a drawbridge, like shooting a laser at a target was able to cause the drawbridge to go down. I guess it's one of those kind of combo switches. I forget what they're actually called, but the things where you hit them a bunch of times and they actually cause the switch to activate. You can't just hit them once or anything like that. We're back in the main room of this place, and there's some extra stuff to get. For example, that blue orb fragment up there that I just can't seem to get because I can't stand on top of the dang spear. Well, you actually don't need to stand on top of the spear. You just need to stand on top of the horse's head. There's another blue orb on the right, just here. And a new switch has revealed itself on the... not on the back of anything, at the back of this room. So we need to pummel that for a little bit. I'm going to be using the Ifrit to do so because I know what enemy is going to pop up after flicking that switch. May or may not have to do with one of the weapons we currently have, kind of associating with the element. And the knight on top of the horse kind of got destroyed by that lightning. So yeah, electric bat enemy that actually doesn't fight you as an electric bat. Rather, it transforms into a copy of Dante in order to try and kill you. And it starts off with a laser attack. That is pretty cheap. You know, the whole attacking you during a cutscene thing, but it's not very difficult to defeat. A couple of dive kicks and a good old combo ought to do the trick. Since they're electric, I use Ifrit on them rather than Alistair. I think Alistair might do less damage. I don't quite remember. But there's more in this room. I think... okay, I actually re-recorded this part a second time because I got interrupted in the middle of it. And in this room there are actually 3 of those electric bat Dante things But here there was just one, and I was able to spam kick 13 on it in order to kill it. And now we're back in that room where Phantom chased us. The big hallway where we got our Alistair weapon. And I'm going to be heading into this room, most likely, because there's some extra orbs in here. For some reason, the table has returned, along with the orbs inside of it, so I'll just gather those. And I'm getting pretty up in the numbers. Nearing 4,000. Might be able to get air hike pretty soon. Actually, definitely going to get air hike pretty soon. But, this hallway probably would have been a good spot to show off our new gun. I guess I'll do that in a different hallway. I'm kind of mixing up my memories of the recordings. Like, I don't remember which one I recorded first because they were recorded so quickly after each other. And Kick 13 completely destroys those not scarecrow things. I think I called them fetishes before. You know, I'll actually search up the name because I don't know if that's actually the name of these enemies. Maybe it is. Let's see. Hey, look at that. I actually got the name right. That is the only enemy that... Well, not the only. There's actually one more enemy that I definitely know the name of. That's like a normal demon. But, now we actually have a boss to fight. We look into this reflecting pool here, and we see that there's a bunch of gunk inside of it. This is Nightmare. As in the alpha version of the weapon that we're currently... Well, not currently, but the weapon we recently got. So, a bit of an odd boss fight. We need to flick these switches to light the room up. Once we do so, Nightmare actually takes this form, the same kind of form that his gun does, or the gun with the name Nightmare does. And at various points, Nightmare will reveal a certain weak spot on him. Once that weak spot is revealed, you need to slash it a bunch of times, and that's how you kill Nightmare. He has some different attacks, and depending on which attack he does, he will take out a different orb. Like, for example, those little spikes that protrude from him, always the back orb, and always for a short time. And then those, like, weird spiky things that come out of him, well, that's the projectiles that come out of him and track your movements. That's also the back orb. But it comes out for a long time, and you can do a ton of damage to it like that. One thing that's annoying is that when he sends out his little baby things to attack you, they will override your, not really lock on, but the game will make it so that it'll prioritize those enemies first, so you'll attack them no matter what, even if you're near a switch and trying to hit the switch. As you attack the orbs, they will kind of start breaking. Now he's doing a big icicle attack, which is very easy to dodge. As long as you're not standing in front of him, you could just repeatedly attack his orb. If you get on his back, you'll do more damage. Since I'm very close to him when he went into his blob form, I actually got sucked underground. When this happens, you have a couple enemies to face off with, these skull things. There's this big one that has a weird eye and takes 2 shots at point blank range. The smaller ones, of course, take 1 like usual. And then after dealing with all of these skulls, there's actually a little surprise that happens. Phantom comes back. He does have less health, and he's not as hard. He has all the same moves though, annoyingly enough. But Nightmare has the ability to suck you in and make you fight previous boss fights, which is kind of annoying considering that you already have a ton of boss fights to fight in this game, you know, that are already repeating. So, not cool. But after defeating said boss, once you come out of Nightmare, he kind of bursts open and you do a little bit of damage to him. I think the earlier you are in the boss fight, the more damage that'll actually do. But since I was pretty late into it, there wasn't a lot of damage going on. Those little orbs that shoot at you, you can like hit them with your shotgun to kind of I guess, get him to go back into Nightmare. And that was pretty much the boss fight right there. After destroying that orb, I guess, he's done. No more. We can actually progress and open these doors. For now, we need to head back to the little platforming challenge we have to do, or we had to do, to get the Pride of the Lion, I think it was called. Falling in, of course, presents the same drawback. Well, it's not really a drawback. The same, what's the word I'm looking for? Punishment, I guess. As previously, you fall in, you have to hang out in the water. I think there might be death scythes in there instead of skull heads, but that might be like a secret extra mission that I am recalling for some reason. Anyway, we head into the left painting here, and that's the end of the mission. There is supposed to be a trophy that you get for beating this mission, but because, as I said, I had to re-record this part, thank goodness that I saved pretty much on different files at the end of every part, I did not get the trophy. I think it was a trophy definitely for defeating Nightmare. It had something to do with dreams. I don't quite remember what it was. But it's not all that important. If you beat the mission, you're going to be getting the trophy / achievement if you're playing on the HD collection. If you're not, then you don't even have to worry about trophies. We need to head to the top of this kind of pillar thing, I guess. Because, well, previously in the castle, that area was blocked off. We couldn't go any higher than where we first got our rusty key for the first time. But now that the castle is all weird and it's nighttime, we can actually head up. And I'm going to be using the Nightmare Beta for this bit, just to show it off. It's not exactly the best area to use it, honestly, considering what enemies are going to be here. As soon as we go toward the door, this enemy pops up. This is the other enemy that I actually know the name of. It's called a Frost, and that's a very easy name to remember. As is Fetish, but I guess that's just because it's so weird. You need to jump there because that is one of those preemptive things. They will get an attack off on you if you don't do anything. But Frost's here. They're ice elementals, so they're actually weak to Ifrit. So use Ifrit, unlike me who's using Alistair to show off some of their moves and the Nightmare Beta. They can teleport around in an icy manner. They can project shields around themselves, which I think gets them to regenerate their health. While they're teleporting, if you're hit by any of the ice chunks, then they will damage you. They can jump high into the air and stomp onto the ground and produce a bunch of icicles. If you get hit by those icicles, you'll take damage. And I think they have a projectile attack. Yeah, one of them just performed it right there. It's kind of a horizontal spread attack. It's like 5 shots, so jumping over it would probably be your best bet. As for the Nightmare, I'm using it right now. It takes up 1 Devil Trigger rune in order to actually use. And while using it, I think you can go into Devil Trigger, but you can't like go into Devil Trigger and then use Nightmare for more damage. You just won't be able to use your gun. But when you shoot it, it bounces off of floors and walls. So in a wide open area like this, it's probably not the most useful weapon. But considering that the next room is kind of a hallway, very tight. Well, not tight isn't cool, tight isn't there isn't a lot of space. This is probably the best place to use Nightmare in this mission, or Nightmare Beta rather. Because there's so many walls for it to bounce off of, you could get a lot of hits on enemies. In the previous room, I could maybe get like 3 hits on them. Whereas in this room, I could get like 6 or so. If, you know, I aim my shots well. Basically, if I aim at a wall, then it'll bounce back and forth and kind of wreck the enemies here. It's pretty powerful. Maybe about as powerful as the shotgun at close range. I haven't like tested the numbers or anything like that. But still, it's pretty strong in exchange for, you know, having to take up Devil Trigger. And also its range, I guess, is in exchange for taking up Devil Trigger. It's just one that I don't use because I'm pretty... not generous. Stingy. That's the word. The opposite of generous, I guess. With my Devil Trigger, I don't like using it very much, only if I'm either needing some health or if I'm fighting a boss, pretty much. That's when I'll use Devil Trigger. And of course, for the sake of this Let's Play, to show off certain moves like the Devil Trigger Kick 13. But I'm not really one to use it in this game. They do give you a lot of it, which honestly means I should use it. But I don't. Either way, we need to go into this room and deal with this dragon over here. The game calls it a dragon, but it's not. It's a dinosaur head. And what you need to do is basically reflect that shot back at it. You could do so with some slashes from your Alistair, but I'm actually pretty bad at it. So it's going to take me a couple tries to actually reflect this shot. I did reflect the first one while its head was down, but that doesn't count. Its head needs to actually be up while you reflect the shot. And all the way up, I think. So, yeah, pretty weird. Or maybe it's like you have to do it 3 times or something. I don't know. But either way, if I actually hit it that time, there we go. That's the last hit. And we activate this mirror thing down here. We probably should deal with that mirror thing first. I don't know why I'm going over here. Maybe because I thought I could actually get up to that platform without using the invisible platforms around, but I actually can't. And just there you saw me use Air Hike. I kind of forgot that I bought it. But Air Hike is kind of self-explanatorily a double jump. You can only use it while you have Alistair equipped. You just press the jump button again while in midair, and Dante will create a sort of demonic platform underneath him, which he jumps off of in order to actually perform the second jump. And that's pretty cool that they did that, like give you a reason to actually have a double jump. Because like in some games, like, I don't know, what's some good examples? Sonic Colors, Team Fortress 2, I guess, God of War. You have a double jump, but it's not really explained why you have a double jump. But in this game, they kind of give it a bit of an explanation. You create a platform under your feet, which you use to perform the second jump. And in this room, only when the lightning flashes can you see the platforms. So that might make your platforming a bit harder to do. If you have the platforms memorized, obviously you can pretty much get across no problem. I, however, actually need the platforms to be lit up in order to actually get across this room, so yeah, my bad for not doing so well in this platforming bit. But I think this should be my last try. I basically failed at every platform except the last one up to this point. And we get the Quicksilver. Not the same Quicksilver in Devil May Cry 3. In this game it's an item. And it's just a key item used to get through a door that I kind of skipped past earlier. It's in this hallway here. I think the enemies have respawned though. Yep, they have. So now I'll actually show off a little bit of Nightmare Beta, I guess. If that was in this recording. Maybe it wasn't. Oh, I'm starting to worry myself. No, yeah, there we go. I use it right there and just wrecked those enemies. And it got me an S rank really easily too. Like just one shot, I think. Got me an S rank. Or maybe it was 2. There were 2 balls flying around. Maybe it was 2 shots and I thought I pressed the button only once or something like that. Anyway, now that we have the Quicksilver, we can get through this door and face off with another boss. This boss took me a lot of tries to get through and is the only boss in this Let's Play so far that actually caused me to restart. By restart, I mean actually use up one of my yellow orbs. Basically, the way yellow orbs work is that if you die in a boss fight, well, not die in a boss fight, die anywhere, you'll basically start at the door of wherever you were. And this fight right here caused me many a death. And it wasn't like, I still don't know how to deal with this boss fight. I mean, I feel like I get lucky when I actually do beat him because he uses certain moves that I'm okay with dealing with. He has certain moves that I just do not know how to dodge, or don't know how, like, what telegraphing is there. Anyway, Nelo Angelo here powered up and has actually revealed his face underneath. His hair is kind of different, but the face is supposed to remind you of someone. Considering the fact that he uses a lot of similar moves to Dante, and the fact that he has white hair, although that might just be because he's all corrupt and such, you might be able to guess who this character is if you haven't played this game or any of the other Devil May Cry games. I have a feeling that I would have been able to figure out who it was before the game actually reveals it to you, because the game will reveal it to you pretty soon. As for the boss fight itself, he does have a lot of the same moves as previously. He has the sword slashes that you use, he has Inferno, or rather his version of it, the fireball attack that you can use with Ifrit. He has new attacks though that really are problematic. When he flies up into the air all the way over there, he'll start sending summon swords at you. These summon swords are very annoying to deal with. They can appear in a variety of arrangements, sometimes right up above your head, sometimes they'll surround you and then kind of all go towards a central point, that central point being you. And I think sometimes he'll just shoot them off kind of one at a time toward you. They are very annoying to deal with, in my opinion. I still don't know how to actually deal with these. I've heard that shooting him with the shotgun can do something, or shooting them with the shotgun, but that's probably actually kind of a mixed up memory, I guess, because that's how you might be able to deal with it in a later game. Well, this character doesn't exactly appear in later games. More like a character who uses those summon swords appears in a later game. Anyway, I came very close to dying, so I decided that I'm going to use one of my vital stars, my only vital star, in order to actually survive and take down this boss. It refills an entire bar of your health, so that was pretty neat. And he decided not to use any more summon sword attacks, so the rest of the boss fight was pretty smooth sailing. It was just that initial thing that really got me. And that's it. Give him a little devil triggered Alistair, and Nelo Angelo is finally done. That's it. He's, I guess, dead. Yeah, he's dead. And from his remains comes something that should look pretty familiar. It's the other half of Dante's perfect amulet. And as we know, because I showed it off earlier, on the back of Dante's amulet, it says Virgil and Dante. And we got a little bit of a flashback audio stuff going on. That Virgil Dante happy birthday thing. Yeah, it's supposed to reveal to you that that person that we were just fighting, Nelo Angelo, was Virgil, Dante's twin brother, as they do have the same birthdays. And of course Mundus here just straight up says to Trish, who we also reveal as an enemy, that yeah, Virgil and Nelo Angelo were the same person. Just that Virgil was, I guess, taken over. Dante thought he was dead, but there's the D rank. I think that's the first one I've gotten ever. And of course, we get a trophy. Next time we'll be seeing what this perfect amulet actually gets us though.